So maybe this summer you want to finally go to Jamaica. You've been saying it every year, but still you're not quite sure on if you should go to Kingston or Montego Bay. So what I'm gonna do in today's video is I'm gonna help you decide which place you should go to. But for starters, this is how you should approach every place that you wanna go to. Determine what kind of traveler you are. One, are you the type who just want the beach, the pool, the drinks, more of like a package set up like a resort? Or do you want more of a local vibe where you meet the people, have a cultural exchange, have the most authentic food? Two. So those are the things you have to ask every time you go to a country, because you can get one or the other depending on what you're trying to do. There's different parts of every country, and depending on what you're trying to get to, you can still enjoy the country. So that's what you got to figure out. Now, there is some nuance because it depends. Are you solo traveling? Are you traveling with family? Do you have a weekend getaway? Do you have 7 days? So there are variables to also include to see what decision you should make. There's also overall, what's your budget? That's how you decide what part of the country you're going to. All right, so let's dig in. Let's go over some pros and cons about both locations. So let's go to Montego Bay. The good thing about Montego Bay is once you arrive there and once you exit, you're only 10 minutes away from the strip. Now, remember I said, do you want more of a package situation where everything is one area? That's how Montego Bay is. You leave the airport, 10 minutes, you're on the strip. It has hotels and restaurants and shops on both sides of the street. And they have like their own tourist cop / security there. So you can get a better sense of security. They're walking around in their outfits. You'll be able to see them. So people feel a little safer. So that's a good thing. Kingston, there's 10 times the population living in Kingston. The majority of people in Jamaica live there, right? And so it's more city life, if that's what you want, right? If you want to get active or whatnot, if you want to have, for example, a good nightlife, you can go to New Kingston. That's where a lot of bars and restaurants are. And so if you want that experience, you can definitely consider going to Kingston. So that's a good thing about it. What is a negative about Montego Bay? I would say a negative is this. Let's say food, even like if you're on the strip, you're not going to get the best food over Kingston. Why? It's just like here in the States. When you go to certain ethnic restaurants, you're not going to get the best food because they usually tweak it down a little bit so that the vast majority of the clientele might be able to enjoy it. So let's say Indian food, for example, if it's typically spicy, they tweak it down so people that aren't really used to spicy can enjoy it. So that's the thing. But when you go to Kingston, you're gonna have great food there. So that's one of the drawbacks. One of the drawbacks about Kingston is, especially if you're going with families, it might be too busy. There's people selling stuff everywhere. So they might be trying to grab your attention to buy more. Not that they don't do that in the shops when you're in Montego Bay, but it's still a little more organized. This one, people are selling stuff, or it just might be too much going on for you to have a family to trek through everything like that. So I want to say that's one of the drawbacks. But again, let me give you one more plus about Kingston. It's reasonable because price-wise, if you're on a budget, let's go to budget. It's more reasonable because that's where the actual Jamaican live, especially if you have Jamaican dollars. Now, you know, a lot of places, if people hear you speak and they already know you're not from there, they'll try to up the charge, but you can get a greater sense. And even if they charge you a little bit more in Kingston, it's not going to really hurt you because it's that more affordable, whether it's going to restaurants. You can go to KFC like you always hear about, oh, Jamaica KFC is good. Go to the mall. It's still going to be more reasonable because of the conversion rate. Now, when you go to tourist areas, and especially in the Caribbean or Latin America in general, when there's a tourist area, they're really just generally working on dollars for the most part. That's what they want to charge you. So the cost is already inflated because of the outside money, the tourist money. So those are some of the things you want to look at. Now, if you're in Kingston and let's say you're there and you had all the excitement and there's a lot of people, but now you want to take a day to relax and chill or two, you can still take buses to Ocho Rios. I've done that one time. I forget how long the bus ride was. It was anywhere between an hour and two. I just don't remember because I think I took a nap on the bus. But I got to see a lot of the view of the road going there, and I really enjoyed it. So those are some of your options in deciding where you should go to when you go over there. And overall, you're gonna have a great time. The people are so nice and the weather's great. And you should have a good time. I never had an issue. And I'm telling you, I've done some questionable walking around late in some spots in Kingston that I would never suggest to people. But when you're a traveler like myself, you take a lot of risk that normal people you would suggest not to, right? So anyway, I always had a good time, never had an issue. And please check my last video. It was on tariffs when I got tariffed in Jamaica over a decade ago. It's fun. Leave a comment over there. I want to know what you think. Until next time, Dave Durano, Frontier over and out. See you.